It's the new year, 2026. Hey everyone, welcome back to Chef Tyler's Croatian Kitchen and to the first episode of the new year, 2026. Happy New Year to you all. I hope you all had a very nice, relaxing holiday and you didn't miss us too much over the last 2 weeks. But don't worry, we are back, better than ever, kicking off the new year with an amazing dish called Grenadirmarš. This is an old Zagreb dish, which is literally just carbs on carbs, and carbs are my absolute favorite macro, so this kind of dish is just like the best. It is potatoes mixed with pasta, and that is all, and it is just amazing. As you can see, we don't actually have like a box of pasta here, but we have flour because we'll be making our own pasta. The pasta we're making is Mlinci, which is a flatbread kind of pasta from the north part of Croatia, the Hrvatsko-Zagorje. We've actually done Mlinci on the channel way back when, back in like 2023, but we're going to do it again, updated, a little bit more pizzazz. So the name of the dish is Grenadirmarš. If you say it, kind of sounds like Grenadirmarš, which is actually one of the ideas of where the name of this dish comes from. The idea is that it's a very filling dish and gives some a bunch of strength to grenadiers in the army. So it's kind of like Grenadier March because you're eating this Grenadirmarš.
What's a grenadier?
A grenadier is a person in an army who throws grenades.
Sounds about right.
I would
Right,
call
yeah.
that a grenade guy, but whatever.
Well, it's French. It's from Napoleon.
Can we stop with the fucking French things in the
Hey!
production?
But we can't make here, so what are we gonna do?
Yeah. Why? We got enough French. We don't need to add the French.
So this is definitely a side dish. I would not recommend having this just as like your main meal. I mean, if you want to, sure, but like you should have something else with this. Maybe like a roast chicken, roast pork. If it's warm out, because now it's like, January. But if it's the summer, some grilled meats would be amazing. You can also add some pancetta into this as well. But we're just gonna go completely meatless because carbs on carbs on carbs on carbs is the freaking best thing ever. God, I love carbs. So we'll just get on right into the ingredients. As you can see, there's really not a lot here. In the center, we have potatoes. They are peeled because I thought it looked cool when you put them in the bowl, because they look like Doug Trio. We have some onion, garlic. This is lard that we're going to be cooking in. Paprika, salt and pepper for the spices, and the flour is for the Mlinci. Mlinci are super simple. It's just water, flour, and a pinch of salt. All right, yeah, that's about it. So we're going to move all this to the side, and we're going to start on making the Mlinci. Making Mlinci is actually super easy. Like I said, all you need is some flour, and I have some water coming up to a boil over there on the stove. The reason we're using boiling water is because we're going to scorch the starch in the flour. That helps limit some gluten development and hydrates the flour better with less water. The ratio is 2 parts flour to 1 part water. So we're going to be doing 250 grams of flour and 125 milliliters of water. And you can, of course, make that bigger or smaller depending on how many you would like. So I have my bowl here on the scale, and I'm going to go ahead and add 250 grams of my flour into the bowl. I can hear that's boiling now. Wow.
And onto the counter and the floor.
I'm just add a pinch of salt that I pulled out of nowhere, so it's now disappear. Water is boiling, and we'll add 125 milliliters. Off the scale. And we'll just work this together until it comes into a very shaggy dough. I tried to do this with a hand mixer once, and it does not really work very well. So using a fork to first bring everything together, and then moving this onto your workspace where you'll need it is the ideal way of making the Mlinci. It wants to be like really shaggy, like this. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
First piece. I'll just pour this right out onto the work surface. Ah, the Lincoln is running at me. We're gonna use the rolling pin, which is why I just have it right there. Also, like if you're worried about the boiling water, it does cool off like really quickly once you pour it into the flour. So at this point, this is like, it's just warm to the touch. You will hopefully not burn yourself. Don't burn yourself. yourself, please. Like, it's not boiling, and I'm gonna like, it's warm, right? But it's not like burning me. I also have like asbestos, so. Right. You can see it's like really shaggy. It's gonna like take a little bit of kneading for this to come together. This will take maybe like 7 to 10 minutes. Honestly, this is the hardest part. So as long as you can just knead for that time, you can make Mlinci very easily at home. So we'll be back once this is nice and smooth. You really just want it to look smooth. You don't want to overwork it because you really don't want to make a lot of gluten, but just a little bit so that it does fit together. I should have been a juggler. One of the people on the street who just juggle dough balls back and forth. Alright, at this point, what we want to do is we're just going to roll this out into a log, maybe an inch-ish in diameter. And I'll just break apart into a few small balls. I'm probably going to get maybe 6 out of this. If you have more Mlinci, obviously you'll get more balls. If you have less, you'll have less. These are very much unequal, but that's fine. Let's just go like that. Okay, we'll have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not juggling these. I see that on Caitlin's face. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll take one of our dough balls, a little bit of flour, right? And we'll just roll this out as thin as you can make it. This, unlike the keflitsa, does not need to, or I guess like the keflitsa, does not need to be in any specific shape. Right? Just roll it out till it's nice and thin. Basically as thin as you can get it. If you can get it like an 1/8 of an inch or thinner, that's what you're looking for. I just pull that over because there was a rip in it. If it starts to stick to anything, just add more flour. You could also let the dough rest a bit if you really wanted to. We didn't. I've done both. Let the dough rest and like not, and it's made like no difference. So if you're strapped for time, just keep going. About like this thin. I need actually these things. Towel. I very much planned for all of this. And what we'll do is we'll just place our Mlinci behind this the thing of flour so you can't see it. You probably don't even see me in the frame. And we'll cover it so it does not dry out. I'm going to go ahead and roll out the rest of my Mlinci. Now that all of the Mlinci have been rolled out, we'll head on over to the stove where we will cook them. So here we are at the stove, and we have our Mlinci here, ready to be scorched. You want a flat pan, maybe like a griddle, as not like super hot, maybe like medium hot. And we're just going to place the Mlinci on top. And you kind of want this to scorch. The original way of doing this, there's like you put it just on a stove top, and it will start to burn a little bit, and that's what you're looking for. Just grab a knife too, so when bubbles start to form, you can pop them. This goes pretty quickly. You might want to flip them over every like 30 seconds, just so it doesn't get too burnt, but they keep cooking. You really just want it to dry out here, as much as you can. It's never going to be fully dry. Like making a tortilla, really, actually. Ooh, there we go. And once it's dried out, hope you can see, dried out and just a little bit burnt, we'll move it off to a side dish towel so it can dry out. So our Mlinci are now off drying, and you want to let these rest for at least a day till they are fully dried out. One little caveat that Caitlin mentioned earlier is that typically in Croatia, people don't actually make their own Mlinci. I'm just going through this whole this process to show you how you can make Mlinci because you can't find it in the US. That said, we do want to keep this going, so I have some Mlinci that I made earlier, and we're going to use these when we head on over to the stove to start cooking the Grenadirmarš. So we're here at the stove. I have the potatoes cut up into cubes in here in salted water, coming up to a boil. In this pot, I'm going to take just some lard. Ooh, that's a good amount. Just throw it on there. I'll take the onions. into, it's a cold pot, right? Because we want to sweat the onions, which means we really don't want to get any sort of color. So part of that too is we'll take, oh, we have to salt that first. We should salt the onion, right? Salt brings out more water. And the water is important here because it's going to keep the internal temperature of this pot down, like maybe around 212. And then that way things aren't going to burn or color, they're just going to sweat. Really get a lot of that onion flavor into the lard and just, you know, kind of disappear as onions tend to do. So with all of that, that is now on, and we'll turn this onto a low heat and let the onions sweat. Once the potatoes are about, say, 2 to 3 minutes from being done, we're going to add in our mlinci. Now, if you're using regular pasta, maybe like a penne or fusilli, you'd want to do this in a different pot. But because the mlinci break up, we're just going to put them all right in there. And they also take like 2 to 3 minutes to cook. What you want to do is break these into pieces, and to make it a lot cleanlier, I'm just going to do this in the bag. So. Right. But I see like there's some big pieces there. Break those apart. And we'll just dump it right on it. And like I said, 2 to 3 minutes until they're softened, and then we will drain.
I love that you did all of that right next to the microphone, by the way.
You know what? You're welcome. So I've gone ahead and drained the potatoes and the mlinci. They're sitting over there drying out. I'm gonna open up all of the onion. We'll just turn the heat up a little bit now, because there's still a little bit of water left in here. A lot of the water just comes right out of the onion. That's what we're looking at here. But of course, the lard is still there, and the lard should really be infused with all of the oniony flavor. Maybe like 1 minute so all the water will evaporate. We're also going to be adding more water in anyway once we add in the potatoes and mlinci. Once we got most of the water out, we'll go and add in our garlic. And this isn't as, you don't have to be like super quick like you would with the goulash here, because there is still a little bit of water. So it's not really going to burn. Right, now I'm going to go ahead and add in the paprika. I think 2 teaspoons, 3 will be good. And if you want something more, a little spicier, you can throw in like cayenne pepper here as well. I'm just a fan of the sweet paprika. And once everything has mixed together, and add all of the potatoes and mlinci directly into the pot. So this is why I was using this big pot here, because everything's going to go in. And I finally learned how to use correctly sized pots and just give everything a mix together. I've cut the heat, and once everything is mixed together, it is time to serve. I'm very excited. It's still warm, but everything is always better when it's warm. And there's also a good chance I might just burn my throat again, which I guess people enjoy. I don't know. I think Kaylin enjoys it the most.
Yes, it's very interesting.
Just gonna fill this up to make it look good. And unfortunately, Kaylin cannot have any of this. This will murder her, which is sad. We do like Kaylin. And here we have our Grenadirmarš. I'm excited to, I think I already said I was excited, but I think that shows you how excited I am. Ooh, that was a big piece. Make a smaller one. With the potato as well. Here we go. I am about to burn my throat. I can see all of the steam. That potato is really hot. This is delicious. Delicious. Like I was saying earlier, I love carbs, and just pasta and potatoes. It's the greatest thing, I think, like ever. The perfect side for any sort of dinner you make. Maybe even like next week's episode. Wink. You could serve with that as well. The mlinci I left a little bit al dente, which was nice. Get a little bit of bite in there. A lot of Croatians tend to overcook things, so mlinci tends to be very much overcooked. This way I like a lot more. And the potatoes too. Who doesn't love potatoes? And this was Grenadirmarš. Thank you for joining us again for the new year. To my subscribers, thank you very much. I very much appreciate your support. And if you are not subscribed and you like what you saw, please hit like and subscribe. And as always, go by the So I have my bowl here on a scale. I'm just going to go ahead and add in 250 milligrams of flour. Wow, this is great.
250 grams of flour, 125 milliliters of water.
How do you have that in your short-term memory?